Hey there, it's Tiffany of Clarity Conference Courage, Women's Empowerment. I am a women's life coach that helps heart-centered, empathic, compassionate women who have gone through a really difficult divorce, reclaim, rebuild, and redefine their lives. On this channel, a lot of what I talk about is personal growth, self-development, and really giving you the tools for creating your dream life, the life that you truly desire to have. Now today I want to discuss how to control and or stop addictive behaviors. And when I talk about addictive behaviors, I'm talking about the whole gamut of those behaviors and habits that are holding you back. Now, before we jump into this content, make sure you share, like, and subscribe. Let other women know, just like you, who want to learn more about how to take control of their lives and truly create a life that they love after they've gone through a divorce. And when I talk about addictive behaviors, I'm talking about the behaviors that are like compulsive, they're hard to control. These are the patterns of behaviors that are just not good for your well-being. And they're the patterns of behaviors that won't take you to where you want to be and the woman you want to become. They're not in alignment with your goals. They're not in alignment with the new life that you want to create. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about addictive behaviors. These are the maladaptive behaviors. So some examples of some of the addictive behaviors that I'm referring to, of course, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, if you're addicted to being a workaholic, shopping addiction, gambling addiction, overeating. Overeating is an addiction, ladies. It is. I've been there whenever I've, gotten into that space of sadness. I use it as a coping mechanism. Getting control over your eating is really important to move forward. So yes, overeating can be an addiction. On the flip side, over-exercising, even things that are good for your body, if you take them too far, they become an addiction. I read recently a lady died of water poisoning, and I was like, water poisoning? But she had literally drank too much water, which of course, water is good for you, it's hydrating. But again, when you take it something to the extreme, even if it's something that's good for you, too much of a good thing can literally lead to your detriment. So be mindful of what your addictions are. Now, the reason I think this is so important if you've gone through a divorce is because you probably created these addictions unknowingly as coping mechanisms when you were going through your marriage, especially if you had a really difficult marriage, if you had a really, difficult situation you were in, you may have used eating or shopping or, whatever it is to get through the marriage itself, to just numb you out, to self-medicate, as I like to say, you from the pain of what you were experiencing. And you may not have started during your divorce. It may have been something that started even when you were a kid. It's like whenever you kind of found yourself in a traumatic situation, you ran to this thing in order to cope. So the addiction could have started before you got married, or it could have really revved up after you've got married. Maybe you took care of it. Maybe you were anorexic when you were younger, but then you kind of got therapy, you went through it. And then when you found yourself in a difficult marriage, you started that eating disorder again. I said anorexia, but that was just an example. Anorexia, bulimia, obesity, overeating, they're all eating disorders, right? So if you were in that situation, you may have used that as a coping mechanism to push through the pain. Hey there, 1 second. Before we move on, I want to tell you about a free gift that I'm giving to all of my followers. It is called Empower Boundaries, How to Build Resilient Personal Boundaries. In this workbook, it's going to go over what boundaries are, what it means to have boundaries, how it affects your life, and how to understand how to verbalize your boundaries. I actually have phrases for you to say to yourself, and so that you can practice to say to other people about how to set limits around your time, your energy, and your space. So definitely check it out. The link is in the description below. Go to the page, sign up, get that free download, and start creating boundaries to create a life that you really love. I hope you enjoy the gift. Now back to the video. One of the major issues with addictive behaviors is it gives this illusion of control. You think that you're in control. You think like, oh, I don't drink too much. I just drink a little bit. I just use it to kind of calm down after work. But think about it. Are you drinking, once or twice a week? Are you drinking a glass a day? Are you drinking a bottle a day? Can you live without alcohol? And again, whatever the addiction is, when you really have time to reflect on it, are you controlling it or is it controlling you? So maybe right now, you're shopping, you might say, well, Tiffany, that's not an addiction. It's just a habit. So every now and again I go shopping. Okay, great. So if you had to never go shopping again, would you be okay with it? Or if you couldn't shop for months, would you be okay with it? Because if the answer is no, then it's probably an addiction. It's probably something you need to help cope. And so it's important for you to start reflecting and asking yourself those questions. This habit that I have with this thing, whatever that thing is Am I controlling it? Can I say no to it when I want to? Or does it control? The other issue with addictive behaviors is your mental and physical health. If it starts to affect your mental or physical health, then yes, you need to stop. You need to figure out a way to stop that thing. And there's so many different ways nowadays when it comes to your mindset and your nutrition that you can get help with. But you guys already know, I always talk about therapy. Now, in the description below, I have the link to onlinetherapy.com. They are an affiliate partner. If you need therapy, whether it's for, alcoholism or something with overeating or shopping, there are therapists that actually just focus on addiction. So make sure that if you decide to get therapy, that you're working with a therapist who understands that compulsive, addictive mindset and behavior. Because there are some people who actually, compulsion and addiction it's easy for them to fall into. It's almost like it's in their DNA. No matter what it is, they'll overdo it because they may have a compulsive mindset. And so some people, like I've known people years ago who might smoke or might drink, and then they decide one day, I don't want to do this anymore. And they literally can stop cold turkey. I was one of those people with alcohol. I just stopped cold turkey. It didn't bother me at all. But I don't have an addictive personality. If you are a person who has an addictive personality, certain substances or certain situations may put you in a frame where you easily become addicted. Because let's face it, addiction, a big part of it is that dopamine high. It's those that the hormones in your brain that are telling you, oh, do that again. That was fun. Oh, do that again. You may even be addicted to social media. Now, don't stop watching my channel, but you understand where I'm going with this. Addiction can have financial consequences. There have been people who literally have lost all their money because of addiction, addicted to gambling, addicted to alcoholism, and not just the addiction itself took their money. They weren't necessarily maybe giving all their money to drugs, but after a while, they could no longer function at their jobs. They could no longer function within their household. So it started to strain other resources, and that's how they ended up losing their money. So be mindful of your addictions and see, like this thing that I do a lot, is it starting to, be a strain on my finances? And is it starting to impact the money that I make and the money that I keep? When it comes to addiction, you really need to ask yourself, how is this affecting me? A lot of times addiction underneath all that is covering up guilt and shame. And so when you have gotten out of a relationship, out of a really bad marriage, gone through a divorce, and you're like, oh, I just need to eat ice cream every day. It's just making me feel better right now. Trust me, it is a habit that you have probably taken on out of that guilt and shame. Now, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having ice cream every now and again, but we all know from a nutritional standpoint, sugar is not great for you. Sugar is an addictive substance. Some studies have said sugar has the same effect on the brain that the C word, I'm being mindful of YouTube, but it's the C word drug, cocaine, has on the brain. So you have to start asking yourself, like, what is this behavior doing for me? Am I really just covering up a certain level of shame that I feel from that marriage, a certain level of guilt that I feel after getting out of that marriage? When you get a grip on your addictive behaviors, you can move so much farther faster. But the addictive behavior is the thing that's probably holding you back from getting close to your dreams, from getting close to your goals. So it's important for you to reflect, what am I doing a lot of that really isn't helping me, that actually is hindering me, that's more of a maladaptive behavior? And does it have control over me? Can I say no to it when I want to? And if I can't, what is it going to take for me to move forward? What is it going to take for me to stop? Do I need to get therapy? Do I need to get help? Do I need to just talk to friends? Do I need to get coaching? What is the thing that's going to help me change my behavior and start working on it? Sometimes I think even if it's not like a serious addiction, you may be able to just replace the behavior. Maybe it's not a super bad addiction. Maybe you just need to change how you get your dopamine high. So instead of, overeating, for example, go for a walk after you've eaten enough. Like, eat your portion size, whatever that might be, and then go outside. Maybe you just need fresh air, and that can supply the dopamine high that you need. The point is, you have to stop whatever this addictive behavior is. It will hold you back. It will keep you from your goals, and you won't reach the level of life that you really want to reach. As always, if you found this video helpful, give me a thumbs up. Let other women know about this channel. Share, like, and subscribe. And again, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.